And to introduce today's speaker, Catherine is the founder of RetreatBoss and a renowned expert in retreat and offsite event planning. She's got 10 years of experience and she's led retreats and corporate events all around the world, incorporating her passion for purposeful living and adventuresome experiences. Through her company, RetreatBoss, Catherine offers valuable services and programs to help professionals and businesses create impactful retreats. In addition to her expertise in retreat planning, she also has excelled in real estate investment and transformational coaching. Catherine's goal overall is to help individuals and organizations create transformational experiences and ignite success in their businesses and lives. We are so excited to have Catherine Kontos here today. Welcome. And thank you, Catherine, for being here. I'll let you take it away.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to be speaking to everybody here today. I started this business about 11 years ago, and it kind of fell on my lap. I had many years launching businesses and flipping them after a few years for profit. I also had and have a psychology degree, marketing, and all of that. And what happened is I was like, what can I do where I can encompass all of these traits I have, these experiences, and all this knowledge into one amazing business? And what I did is I bought an inn and I transformed it into a retreat center for addictions and mental health. And it was an amazing time in my life. But unfortunately, a few months after I launched this beautiful business, that was my dream business, I fell very sick with a stage 3 breast cancer. And I had to close down the business. And I had this huge building that was just sitting there burning money every month. And I said to myself, well, what am I going to do? And thank God for all that knowledge that was, ingrained in me. In between surgeries, chemotherapy, and all of that fun stuff that comes with cancer, I built this business that you see today on my laptop, hired a team, and just took off with it. 2 years later, it won an award, and 10 years later, post-pandemic, and shut down twice, right? Because of the pandemic, we're still here, and we survived all that, and actually really flourishing today. So I'm grateful to be here today to present this to you, because transformation is truly at the point of right now. Everybody is wanting that type of transformation. They're seeking it, especially after everything we've been through, and especially with what the world is going through. So it's very important to me to be in this business to help you transform as many people as in your groups and whatever. So the more I talk about this and the more I train people, the more transformation is happening in this world. So thank you for having me here. So we're going to get started as to why you should do these retreats and how it'll impact and scale your business. There we go. Okay, so basically I'm going to give you a little blueprint. Really, I'm giving you just a bit of a insight of what can happen when you're doing retreats, and how to make them in a way where you are truly tapping into your guests' mind, soul, all of that, in order to impact them and transform them in the best way. I want them to leave from your retreat saying, oh my God, what just happened? This was completely life-changing. Because every retreat is good, but there's a difference between good and wow. So this is the difference between the two of them. And there's 4 reasons, at least, that you choose retreats. Number 1, it is to impact your clients, whether it's for your corporation to impact your employees and create a culture, create transformation within your employees, promote growth, unity for the remote teams, or for your clients to impact them in a way where it's quick versus long-term transformation. business growth. We're going to get into each one of these much more. Business growth. It is a tremendous, people don't realize how much you could grow your business with retreats. And I'll show you how. And usually retreats are because you're passionate about transformation and impacting people. So it's really a purposeful, a very purpose-driven type of a service or business. And of course, you get the perk of free travel, right? Paid travel, at least. So transformation, there's a few things that make it a big impact. Number one, you are eliminating all distractions. So if you're in the coaching business, or if in a corporation, whatever it is, you're taking away all the distractions that people usually have, and you're bringing them in a place where they know there's going to be growth. So they're already in the mindset, I'm going there because I want ABC goal to happen. And you're bringing everybody together who are very like-minded as well in their transformation. So number two, they're ready for it. They're open to it. They're primed to get to the next level. Okay. And when you take away those distractions and you bring in your program, that's where it makes all the difference, because now there's no more, okay, let's coach them for the next year. Okay, I'm using coaching, but it could be anything. Let's coach them for the next year. And, life happens. There could be a life challenge that happens, their kids, their wife, their husband, whatever it is. And they get distracted and you kind of lose them. So that energy stops, it wanes. When you have them in a retreat, that doesn't happen. And if you have the right program, and if you have implemented and you roll it out during the retreat in a very specific, strategic way, then that impact and transformation can happen as fast as 24 to 48 hours if you do it right. And this takes experience or someone with experience to teach you how to roll it out and when to roll it out, okay? So that makes a huge difference, is how you roll out your program, when you roll out what, okay? And how are you making your decisions across your retreat to create micro behaviors of transformation throughout the entire retreat, where your clients are not even understanding or realizing that it's happening. It could be as simple as the venue that you're choosing. If it's not the right vibe, which is very important, then something's going to be off. It starts with something as simple as that. It could even be the way you present the food. What if, you were at a spiritual retreat, for example, and the way the food was presented was in a way where, I don't know, it represented some kind of ceremony in the area that you are in. So, example, you're in Mexico. And there's a certain ceremony in providing the, like if you look at the indigenous way of doing it or whatever, that would be so special, right? So it makes a big difference in what you present and all the choices you make. It's not just a venue. It's not just a destination. If you're trying to create impact or something to come through at your retreat, all your choices, and I mean all your choices, including everybody who's there, will make a difference in the transformation. You do not just let anybody come to your retreat. You vet your clients. You make sure that they are the right people for that space. If you allow one wrong person to come in there, okay, nobody's wrong, but they're not right for that retreat, okay? So if one person with a different idea or different, something that doesn't resonate or doesn't align with your retreat, they will literally take the energy from up here to down there. And we all know the dynamics change with every person you add and every person that leaves. So be protective of your retreat. Be protective of the people that are there, and make sure you allow people that are open to the discovery of your retreat, that are open to that growth, that resonate with you. Okay. I know that there's some people that even go as far as interviewing every retreat attendee that is interested in coming in, right? They just want to make sure that their retreat is protected and that their guests are protected. And that energy that you're creating, because it's not only your program, it's not only your choices, it's not all of that stuff. It's also the accumulation of the entire group, that energy, and you lose control over. Sometimes you're going to have to back up and say, oh my God, this is better than I could have thought. Look at what's happening. And even if your program is rolling out, you might actually stop it at that point and say, this is so much more valuable than anything I could say right now. And you just let it go. And then you go into your other stuff again, but that will happen if you're doing it right, because the group will kind of take over and flourish and blossom into this crazy energy of transformation. And it's the biggest gift you will give to them and the biggest gift that you will get back. Okay. So these are the few of the transformation of what will happen to your guests. So business growth. That's the next thing that we want to talk about. How do you make a profit at a retreat? When I hear people say, I've added retreats and it pays my travel. It's great. I just want to break even. I pull my hair because I'm like, no, you need to make money or it won't be sustainable. You will stop. If you have retreats of about 10 to 15 people, okay, we're talking about smaller retreats, and you're not making 5 digits net in your pocket, you're doing something wrong. Okay. So that's one of the things. The second thing, and there's ways of doing that, right? We have pricing strategies, the way to negotiate. There's a lot of things where you can actually, gain money with your retreat. When any high-end coach, high-level coach that's been doing it for years, will always have a retreat because they will have masterminds. And these retreats are where the magic happens at the end of the year, at the end of that mastermind. Why do they do this? Because the retreat alone will probably make more profit for them than the entire year of mastermind. And that is valuable. From the retreat, what you're doing is you are building community. Okay. And I think that's my next one. You're building community. This is attached to growth, okay? When you're doing a retreat, first of all, you're building your community towards the retreat. If you already have one, it'll actually grow even more than what you have because people will be interested in what you're doing. It creates, again, this energy of, I don't want to miss out. This community seems really connected, and God, we all want connection right now, right? So it creates this connection, tribe-like feeling, okay? And people want to be part of it. And if they know you're going to the retreat to even forge more of that community and connection, they feel like, I'm missing out on something. They came back and they had, I've seen retreats where all of a sudden people are doing like collaborations with authorship. They're launching books, they're launching events together, they're building, they're doing joint ventures together, they're creating something happens at these retreats. So when people know that, they start coming towards you and saying, hey, I want to be part of that. The people that are at your retreat will start marketing for you, not only before, not only during, but after too. It creates this snowball effect where while they're there, they're likely tagging you, tagging their friends, whoever's there, the new friends they're making, and they are literally your marketing army. Word of mouth, there's nothing that beats word of mouth in marketing. When there's word of mouth, people trust it and they will sign up. Okay. And there's ways of continuing that community. So before your retreat, always make sure you prime them. So 2 weeks before, a week before, 2 weeks is probably better. You bring them in and you tell them, this is everybody. You create that where that moment where they start meeting each other and feeling more comfortable with each other. So you're priming them with something that will happen at the retreat. You could give them an activity, an exercise, something. They get to meet each other. Any issues they might have or fears are gone. Great. So we get into the retreat already with a preset in our mind. During the retreat, you're going to do your thing. And then at the retreat, there's going to be other things of building this community, okay, that you're going to incorporate. There's a lot of stuff that you could do. And then post-retreat, you make sure you have a post-retreat. So you forge the community at the retreat, and then you nurture it going forward. Okay. So it keeps building on itself. So, I put this in because you are living with purpose on purpose when you're creating retreats. Okay. It is a purpose-driven business service, and this will happen and create that mentality with your group as well. So this is, places you could reach when you're traveling, so I just want you to all just imagine yourself in this beautiful place for a second and say, I'm having, my afternoon tea right there, or a glass of wine, whatever you love. Okay. It looks like you would have to go with a little boat there though. Okay. But these are things that you can aspire to do and go to if you're adventurous enough, right? But local retreats are just as good. Next. Hold on. There we go. Give me a second here. I need to get that little arrow. I'm gonna stop. Come on.
While she's doing that, I'm just jumping in to say, oh my gosh, this amazing information, Catherine, that you're already pouring into us. I know there's been some really great comments in the chat about just how much this is resonating for the attendees, how many of the attendees already host retreats or they have retreat locations that they're at. So thank you again for this great information. This is amazing.
Thank you so much. And this does usually work. I just don't know why it's not working great.
That's okay. It's the tech world. We're all good. Yes, Sherry says not a bad place to be stuck. I know we're all dreaming of being in those little huts. I know I am. That looks so divine right there. I'm loving it. And for the attendees that you're here, just a quick reminder, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know who you are and why you came to this presentation. You can also drop contact information in here as well. We can use this as a little bit of a networking at the same time. And as you start generating questions, drop those in the chat too, because I know Catherine will end up addressing questions towards the end of the presentation. So be thinking of those questions and drop them in the chat now so that we can go ahead and get those together.
So I stopped sharing to see if I could get it to work to the next thing. So, but it doesn't seem to want to go.
Oh goodness.
Let me do
we love it.
Else and
just when you think Zoom, you have Zoom mastered, it throws a little monkey wrench in there.
So anyway, if worst comes to worst, it's okay. You'll just have to just look at me and not look necessarily at all these images. So I'm going to try to get it to work.
Okay.
Unless my assistant is able to do it, who's on here.
I can give her the ability to start sharing if she wants to have that ability as well.
Yeah, if she can.
Absolutely. Let me grab her real quick.
Okay.
And we'll make that happen. All right. And Rochelle is here.
I got it.
Oh, Catherine got it. Yay. See?
Okay. So
all we had to do was say that Rochelle was going to help, and Zoom acted right in line.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Awesome. So strategic differentiation. Okay. So why do this? Because you will be different than most people out there. Especially if you are trained to do this, you are going to create an incredible marketing strategy for your business. Okay. You do see a lot of retreats out there, but it's the type of retreat you're going to create that will make the difference. Okay. So high-level coaches, authors, wellnesspreneurs use retreats. And the experience that you're going to create, if you learn to do it right, the way you're going to create the retreat experience will really tap into your niche's spirit. Okay. And that's why they will want to come to you. You will start attracting people from everywhere. And the differentiator within the retreat makes a difference also. So imagine you hear, come rejuvenate, in Bali and refresh yourself to a better and new life. Awesome. We hear that all the time. But what if it was something like, I'll give you an example. You are a chef, okay? Or better, you're a nutritionist or you're a wellness coach or something in the wellness industry. And you want to create a wellness retreat that offers maybe a chef in Tuscany where they take the farm to table and you get to actually be in that farm and see where the food's coming from. And they are able to come in and drink that with a glass of wine, and you pair it with a glass of wine or whatever, and you're doing this in a beautiful villa in the middle of the fields. How beautiful would that be? Right? And maybe you could collaborate with other people who will bring even more eyes to you. So collaborations are good. The only difference, though, is your profit will be less because you will be sharing that profit. But collaborations are very good because you will get that support, especially if it's your first retreat, and you will get more people to look at your business and your retreat as well for the future. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to make yours stand out. And a lot of it has to do with your branding and your landing page and all of that stuff too. Okay, so you really need, if you can't convince your people, your niche, with whatever landing page you have, if you can't take them away for that 1 minute that they're looking at your landing page, how would that convince them that you're going to actually take them away on this retreat, emotionally, spiritually? So you've got to actually tell a story in your landing page of what they will feel like, what a day will look like there. Take them away a little bit, kind of like that video right before. Make them leave from their everyday and imagine a retreat with you and the people that are going to be there. Okay, so it's very important to differentiate yourself within the retreat and also within your coaching or business or whatever you're doing. Okay, so like I was mentioning before, there's key elements, right? So the theme and the focus can make all the difference in the world. Your location and setting, just like I mentioned, in Italy, in Tuscany, because you have a wellness business, and there'll be some elements within there. It could be the villa that you're in that is just phenomenally beautiful. It could be the fact that it's farm to table. It could be all of that stuff, right? The more unique you make it, the more people want to go to. People travel all the time right now. It's not the thing, like, it's not like 30 years ago where it's like, oh, you went there. Oh, no. Today, people want to experience something when they're away. They want to come back with a different knowledge, a different set of mind, a different heart, a different spirit. They want to experience travel. They just don't want to go to a destination. So if it's just the destination you're selling, you're not going to sell. Okay. People have the money now and they want to travel in these destinations where something different will happen to them. So it's very important you sell the experience and not the travel or whatever it is. Let them understand what they're going to get. Okay. And always hire expert facilitators. If you know how to build a retreat, if you nickel and dime certain things, trust me, it'll come back to bite you. Okay. So if you have volunteers, that's great. Have a contract with them, even if they're your best friend. They don't have to necessarily sign it. They could, but at least they know on paper what's expected from them for the retreat. Okay. If you have staff or anything, write down what's expected during the retreat. Have a strategy in place. Don't go in there just saying we're going to have a great time. Have a strategy in place. Okay. Really personalize the experience. Yes, you're in a group, but get to know each individual before the retreat. That way, you know what each person is coming in with. Yes, we're all doing a general goal and we're all generally there, but each person is coming in with a set of issues that they want to deal with. Know what they are, know them, personalize it for them. It'll make a big difference in how you impact them and transform them. Are we going to have the same problem again? No. Okay. So how do we maximize profitability without compromising quality? First of all, cost-effective planning. Okay. Plan ahead. Don't say, I'm doing a retreat 4 months from now. I'm sorry, it's not going to work, at least not the way it should. The earlier you plan, the cheaper it is, and the more options you have. Okay. So travel is cheaper when you book it earlier. Venues are cheaper when you book it earlier. The last minute thing does not work. Okay. And it's a group. You can't do that. Okay. Finding the facilitators, all of that. Plan early, plan a year ahead, especially if it's international. Okay. So if you're thinking of having a retreat next year, you should start planning already. You should be sending out little teasers saying retreat 2024. If you know which area you want to go to, Tulum, retreat 2024, and people are going to know you're already planning something, and they're going to start like, oh, put out surveys, try to figure out who wants what, really tune into what they are looking to get. And if it aligns with what you want, you're going to have an epic retreat. Understand that. Have a pricing strategy ready, a marketing strategy ready, all of that. Know what your early bird is versus your regular price. Why, if I'm going to book something a year in advance, I better be getting a hell of a deal, because that money is going to be with you for about a year. So if you can knock off a price and start it off early and you could book these people, do it. Okay. You'll have peace of mind knowing that it's done. And then when you actually do launch to the regular public, you'll probably have sold half of your retreat out already. I have retreat leaders that will launch, and with all the strategies that we help them create, they are sold out within days of launching, because they've been priming their people for a while now. So they got them ready. They know it's coming. So when it does come out with the right strategy, you've sold out your retreat. Create additional revenue streams. So when people come to this retreat, you have them there. They have your full attention. They are loving everything that's happening. They're meeting people. They're in a great place right now. No distractions. Guess what? Have available your programs. Okay. What's next after the retreat? Have your next retreat ready from this retreat. Say, okay, well, in 6 months, we're going here, or in a year, we're going here. Sign up now for like $500 and you're booked, you're in, and you'll get this price. Have your coaching, have your whatever it is that you're selling, have merchandise there. If you're selling any kind of product, have it there. Okay. Whatever it is, have it ready during the retreat. And it continues. It'll just continue and grow because of that. Okay. Also, the other way to maximize profitability is strategic negotiating. Okay. So what is this? I have 25 years of negotiating and acquisition. So I'm pretty good at it. And I'm proud to say that, because I saved my clients, just this week, I saved my client $30,000, which was insane, just in negotiating a venue. That hotel was ripping her off. She was asking for a price the week before, and I went in. And because of the leverage of the company, and because of my experience, and because they want to deal with me, I was able to save her all that money. Another client, I saved $12,000 this week. Again, just because of the way we negotiate. You have to understand your opponent and understand how much you can negotiate before you even go into the process. Okay. So strategic negotiation is very important. And then there's sponsorship. So remember I said you could have free travel. Well, one of it is, it's because the retreat's covering. That's one way. But you could have sponsors for your retreat. I don't know who you are, where you are, and who you know, but I've had my retreats fully sponsored. Okay. So there's a way of doing that also. So if you can find a strategy where you can sponsor part or your whole retreat, amazing. And if you can give back to your community and say, I will sponsor one retreat for one person or two, that would be amazing too. Wouldn't that be great? Being able to get people to come in that can't afford it otherwise. Okay. So this is how you maximize profitability. Here we go. Okay. So navigating the hidden challenges, participant engagement. You don't want it to be boring, right? So you got to make sure whatever activities or whatever you're doing, people are actually participating. People are actually engaging with each other. And this has a lot to do with taking away the masks early on. Okay. You don't want people to come there and say, "Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the founder of RetreatBoss." And then it's like the next person, right? So you want to create storylines, right? That 2 weeks before, getting people to kind of know each other. Awesome. If you could do that live, even better. And when they come into the first day of this retreat, create something where they don't have those masks. I'm telling you, the transformation happens when those masks come off, because they will feel like they could be themselves right away. And that's what you want. You want authenticity. You want people to be who they are with their friends. Okay. And that's where the connection will come. And that's where the engagement will come too, because they won't be shy. They'll feel like the trust is very solid in this group. They'll feel secure, and they will open up and completely just immerse themselves in the retreat. Liability is another one. So liability is very important. You got to make sure from your website to your waivers to your contracts with your guests and your vendors are all solid. Okay. So always make sure that you have all that. Do not wing it. Do not think nothing's going to happen. Something could happen. Usually not. But if one thing happens, like even a cancellation, they want to cancel. You don't have a contract. Guess what? You have to give them their money back 2 days before the retreat. Have everything very clear, okay? A contract isn't only for legal purposes, but it's for clarity. They know what they're getting into. They know that you're serious. You're not just another person doing a retreat, okay? So everything is very clear for them. They know what they're participating in. They know what they're getting into, and they know what money will come back to them if they cancel or not, okay? So it has to be clear amongst everybody. Your marketing. Okay, that's another thing I hear a lot often. It's like, how do I market my retreat? People will come to me a month or two before the retreat starts, and they're like, well, how do I market my retreat? I'm like, where were you 6 months ago or a year ago? It's not now. It's too late. I don't care how much money you pay. You could pay thousands of dollars to a marketing team. It won't get you people in this late in the game, especially if it's international. If you haven't sold out 2 months before, you're not going to get more people at 2 months before at an international retreat. Your marketing starts with the right foundation and the right niche. Okay. If you build all that a year before, you won't have this issue 2 months before. I promise you. Then there's logistical challenges. Okay. So we're not all planners. Okay. We get that. Then either hire somebody in your staff or hire a professional. You do not want to be doing logistics during your retreat. That takes away from your energy to the people. Your mind and your heart and your soul are not there. You're thinking of Chef Tony not showing up, on time. You're thinking of Travis who's stuck outside of his room. You do not want that. When you go in there, it's your responsibility to be fully engaged with your clients. That's what they paid for. They didn't pay you to be distracted. You took them away from their distractions. You need to take away yourself from the distractions. You go in there fully engaged, fully immersed in them that whole week, if it's a week long, and let whoever it is in your staff or the professional you have hired to take care of everything else. You just show up with your program.